Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at the S.H Figuarts Naruto Uzamaki Kurama Link mode. This figure was a Bandai exclusive, so it may be a bit difficult to get now, but some places may still have it. If you ordered it through Bandai, yours should be shipping or arriving soon, I would assume. I haven't actually made it this far in Naruto where this form shows up. I am currently working my way through Naruto, and I thought the figure looked pretty cool in the promo images, so I thought I would order it and at least do a review. Here's a look at the package. It's yellow with some orange on the side, kind of to match the figure. Here's some poses on the back here. I do like the way on the Naruto packages they have like a thick outline, kind of like they're sketched on here. I think that looks pretty cool. Taking a closer look at some of the details here, I don't think the shading is quite like it was in the promo images, especially on the hair. Remember on the promo images there being a lot more orange on the bottom parts of the hair here. Here it's kind of just a darker yellow. You can kind of see where they hit it with the orange there. It doesn't really have much of a gradient going through here. It's kind of just one uniform color. I do think the back of the figure looks pretty good. I like the shading and highlights here. Sleeves also look pretty nice. As did these little bits on the headband. It's mostly just the hair that I don't love. The headband also could have used a little bit more detail. It kind of gets a little bit lost there. It just kind of looks like one blobby yellow strip. The face looks pretty good though. I like the eyes. I feel like I keep saying it in all my S.H Figuarts reviews, but they're doing a really good job on the eyes lately, so I like those. Overall, the figure is a bit glossy, especially these black parts. I feel like these might collect fingerprints. Whether or not you like the glossiness, that's going to be up to you. He does have the black stripes going down the legs and little symbols on the shoulders there. The legs also have a lot of shading, and down to the feet he's got these little flamey bits coming off of there as well. I think I personally would have preferred some sections that weren't as glossy. Like, I think it would have been cool if the black strips and the black parts were matte with just the flamey parts being glossy. In general, I do prefer a matte finish over a glossy finish. I don't think it looks bad. I think I just expected it to look slightly different based on the promotional images, and I wish they would do more accurate promo images. The jacket is pretty flexible, so depending on the articulation, that I don't think that should get in the way, but I don't know if it would anyway because it's pretty billowed out at the bottom. I do like that it's nice and flexible, as is the collar, and the little sleeve bits. These are also flexible, and so is this little tongue piece. Also, they match the gloss on the flexible stomach very well to the chest. Sometimes they have a slightly different finish when they're flexible versus hard parts, so that looks pretty good. For faces, we have the neutral one that comes on him in the package, and then also these four other faces. We've got the kind of smirking face, an angry face, the comical angry face with the whited out round eyes, and then the sage mode face. Again, I think they're doing a really good job with the faces. I really like the eyes on all of these. I also like the variation in expressions we're getting here. I like that the mouths have a slight angle to all of them. It gives them a little bit more personality, in my opinion. Also, all those little lines for the eyebrows, those look really nice. Those are on there clean, and the lines for the mouth are clean as well. These faces all have a little bit of shading on the ear, so it'll blend into the hair a little bit better. And that looks pretty good. I'm not sure if there would have been any other faces that would have worked here. I like these, but like I said at the beginning, I don't know this version of the character well enough to really say if it should have had different faces or not. Let me know in the comments. For hands, he comes with these fist hands in the package. Then it comes with a pair of open hands, pair of kind of style pose martial arts hands, a pair of, I guess, jutsu hands with the two fingers together, a pair of slightly gripping hands, a pair of pointing hands, a pair of mini tailed beast bomb hands, and a pair of hands for holding the effects. I also want to say these hands were not pleasant to swap out. The peg used here is like a mushroom peg, and it's a bit more difficult than the usual pegs that S.H Figuarts uses. These effect part hands in particular, I had to use a hairdryer to get them on the first time, just because they were really tight and the pegs were not cooperating. So with those effect holding hands, we're going to need some effect parts. Here he has his Rasengan. This has a peg hole on the back here. I like the sculpt of this. It's got some nice swirls in it, and there's some white airbrushing over the top. So this just pegs on here like that. That seems pretty lightweight, so he's going to hold that well. And it also comes with a rosin shuriken. This also looks nice overall. I like the sculpt of this. Maybe went a little bit heavy with the white airbrushing on the top. I kind of like the way the back looks a little bit more with the opaque white behind the translucent blue. But I don't think it looks bad. That's also going to come down to personal preference. This one also slides on the hand easily, and that seems pretty lightweight as well, so he's not having any issues holding both of those up. Doesn't seem like they'll cause the arms to sag or anything either, so that's good. So pretty good spread of accessories, a lot of hands. I like the faces. It's always good to get effect parts. Also, that is a bit to be expected with the higher price point of P Bandai. On to articulation. The headband here is on a hinge, so you can move that up and down. Kind of wish it was a ball peg, so you could rotate it or move it a little bit more. It does have a good flow to it, so it's not too big of a deal. Probably leave it up most of the time, because that looks a bit cooler. At the head, there is a double ball peg, and then also a ball peg at the neck. So looking up, he can look up about this much with both the neck and the head joint, and then looking down, not a ton there either. He can touch his chin almost to his chest. Not the most range. Do get a lot of head tilt there, and since it's a ball peg, you can move it around however you'd like. So that's pretty good. There is a extra piece here for the hair on the back of the neck, almost like a Rebel Tech figure. So let's see if you can get any more range if we take that off. A lot of times on the Rebel Tech figures, like the My Hero figures, we'll take the extra hair piece on the back out to get more range. So without that, I think you can squeak out a little bit more range going up, but it's not a ton more. It does look up pretty well. And then it's not going to affect looking down at all. At the shoulders, it's very easy to make these shoulders look ugly because the butterfly joint comes out. So you can look a bit square and disjointed there. I think it looks a bit better pushing these in. I've seen quite a few pictures where the shoulders are out and it doesn't really look the best in my opinion. So with that butterfly joint though, you can bring the shoulders way out to the side. This can rotate back quite a bit. And forward, not all that much. Kind of just brings the arm straight forward. There's what that joint looks like from the back. Not the prettiest joint, but we can see in there to see what's going on. You can see that's a double ball peg with a smaller ball coming down into this joint here, and then a slightly bigger ball at the shoulder. And then inside the figure, might be hard to tell, but there's a hinge in here for hinging this joint up and down. On the outside of this butterfly joint cap, you can see a ball peg here, and then a hinge on the shoulder. A little difficult to see on the camera, but that's what's going on in there. So, but I do think it's good to note that you can push the shoulders in a bit, so that he doesn't look quite as blocky. because he does come out of the package, or at least mine, a little bit blocky looking. The shoulders go up better than horizontal, so that's good. There is a swivel at the bicep. Maybe something to note, this black line is going to be broken up by the articulation. There's not really much you can do about that though. There are double jointed elbows. I get pretty good range for the bulkiness of the sleeve. And then ball hinges at the wrist, so you can move those around however you would like. I also just noticed there's a swivel at the wrist where the arm connects to the sleeve there. Coming down to the torso, there's a ball at the diaphragm and another ball at the waist. Due to the way the jacket's sculpted, it doesn't really go back much on that diaphragm joint, and forward, not a ton either. It does swivel pretty well and leans side to side up there. Feels like a pretty small ball though, so I think it just doesn't have room to rotate on the ball. Because going forward, it shouldn't really, nothing should really get in the way. This is tucking in, so it should be able to come down more if the ball allowed for it, but it does not. At the waist, kind of the same. It feels like a kind of tiny ball. So all together with both those joints, let's see what we got. Not the best range leaning forward at all. And leaning back. Also not the best range. Unfortunate. Can of course rotating forward on the hips. I do wish the torso was a bit better. Coming down to those hips, you can kick out pretty much the full splits. The jacket doesn't really get in the way at all since it's flexible, so that's good. There is an upper thigh cut. That's on a little ball joint, so you can shift that in and out, kind of like the Jujutsu Kaisen figures I'd reviewed. Double jointed knees. They get pretty good range. They could go a bit farther, but I think that's fine. Thought there was going to be a swivel here. Oh, there is. It was just stuck for a second. Swivel here at the top of the, I guess you could call it a boot. Then coming down to the ankles, we have a ball joint here, connecting the foot here. So you can wiggle the foot around on that, pushing the foot forward. Not very good range at all. Oh no. And then bringing the foot back. Pretty good range coming back. Yeah, I think it's just the top of the sandal here butting into this like shin armor situation. And shifting the ball doesn't really help that much. It does have an ankle rocker, not really limited at all by this little flamey bit. And then there is a toe hinge, which looks fine. It's not the stiffest toe hinge, but I think it'll work alright. So overall, not the best articulation we've seen on an S.H Figuarts. I mean, I still think you'll be able to get him into some decent poses. I would have liked a better torso articulation there. I don't think it's really the coat limiting it at all. It's just feels like they're using tiny balls in there. And it's not great. I mean, the articulation's fine. It's serviceable, but it's nothing crazy. I just always hope for more with the P Bandai releases. For sizing comparisons, he's standing at about 5.5 inches to the top of where the head would be, 5 3/4 to the top of the hair, and then about 6.5 to the top of the tallest headband flamey bit. I wanted to show him like this with the S.H Figuarts Naruto from Naruto Shippuden to better show that he's actually a bit shorter than this non-Kurama linked Naruto. So that's kind of weird. You can see that the eye line comes to just about where the nose is on this Naruto. I figured they'd be the same size. I guess not. Let me know in the comments if there's some reason this version of Naruto is a little bit shorter, or if they're just bad at scaling. Here he is next to all the Naruto figures I have currently: Sakura, Kakashi, Naruto, and Sasuke. Here he is next to another flamey ninja, Gabimaru from Hell's Paradise, and the Tamashii Nation's flame effects, if you want to see that. And here he is next to the Marvel Legends Nightcrawler for a domestic 6-inch figure, and the V-Toys Asura. Overall, I don't entirely dislike it. I do have some level of disappointment for it though, unfortunately. Some of that comes from the shading in the hair. I really liked on the promo pictures the way that there was orange at the bottom of the hair and then it came up to yellow. But on this, it's kind of just all one uniform dark yellow, light orange on the hair. And it just doesn't look as good. Otherwise, I think the paint overall is pretty good. I like the shading on the coat. It's got some good shading on the wrinkles everywhere. The headband looks nice. I like the sculpt and the flames on the headband and the little flames coming off the coat and his feet. The glossiness, that's gonna be up to you. That's kind of very subjective. I do generally like a matte figure a bit better than a glossy one. That could be solved with doing a matte clear coat. Then you have to commit to doing a matte clear coat. The hair is also not as glossy as the rest of it for some reason. I think that's a little bit weird that it's not as uniform. The other thing I didn't love, the torso articulation could have been a lot better. And it's not even limited by the coat because it can't bend forward very well. I'm pretty sure it's just the ball pegs in there. I don't want to like rip it apart to see. It feels like they're using tiny ball pegs. For the positives though, I mean, it is cool that it's a bright yellow figure. I do like how much it'll pop on the shelf. It did come with a lot of accessories, a lot of good hands, 2 big effect parts. I'm always saying I want effect parts, so very happy with 2 big effect parts. Swapping out the hands is a bit unpleasant though. I don't know why the pegs are different on this. I really don't like when I have to get the hair dryer out every time I want to swap hands, and for some of these hands it feels like that's going to be the case. Maybe the peg holes are a little shrunken from the package, and once they're stretched out they'll be fine, but not the most pleasant experience out of the box. I think if you're a big fan of Naruto and you really like this form, you'll probably like this. I think they did a pretty good job representing a glowing, flaming guy. You could also disagree entirely. I mean, everyone's expectations of what a glowing, flaming figure will probably be different, and that's okay. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this figure? Are you gonna get it? Did you pre-order it? Is it what you expected? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.